I ended up with a bunch of sticks after cutting my door frame. What can I do with a bunch of sticks? Oh, we can throw it in the garbage. That's a great idea. But I think otherwise. I'm gonna glue these back together and make a shelf out of it. I can glue them back on edge like so, and in this case it's gonna be 1.5 inch thick, about 38 millimeters thick. Or I can turn them this way, but in this case it's gonna be a little too thin to my liking. 5/8 of an inch or so, say 16 millimeters. I want shelves to be 20 mils, 2 centimeters thick, say 3/4 of an inch. And also not all have the same thickness. You can see it here. So I would need to run it through the thickness planer, and I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. I have the glue over there and I have the block plane over there. Some of them need a little fix. Here is a staple that needs to be pulled. Otherwise, yeah, this needs a little fix with the block plane. You can see the saw blade mark on it. That's not gonna work really well with gluing, but the rest of the saw blade marks are pretty negligible. Like there's a little bit there. That's a heavy one that needs to be fixed, but these ones are good to go. So that's how my prep is gonna look like for gluing, and I'll show you the rest. I changed my mind just slightly. Instead of fixing the 2 sticks, I just turn them out so they are on the outside and they are not interfering with anything, and I can just glue it up this way and cut it off at the end or do whatever with it. And there's that one. Alright, and this is my dry fit. Usually with gluing, when the glue is dripping and running, you don't want to be running. So I got enough clamps out here, blocks of wood that will keep the sticks from shifting in height this way. Okay, so that's what these blocks will do. I'm gonna clamp these together as well as, of course, the sticks together. And 2 other sticks I just banished. I'm gonna cut these. They have huge grain tear outs there that I don't want to fill with glue or whatever. If it's inside the shelf, it's making it weaker. Same there. I just want to chop these shorter, and I have a bunch of shorter sticks anyhow, so I'm gonna have a shorter shelf as well. And that's what that's gonna be. This paint roller, this is gonna be my glue spreader, so I can get this done in the next 5 minutes instead of taking half an hour. And I think I'm good to go for gluing. These 2 clamps are just holding the sticks together, so there are no gaps, major gaps in between, so I can do this. And let the fun begin. Or nightmare, depending on how you look at this. This gluing is stressful because glue runs and dries. That's why we do it on a cloudy day especially. Just like so. That's what I mean by taking just 5 minutes to spread the glue instead of, I don't know, half an hour. I do it with a paint roller. and then wash it clean. Super simple. Alright, done with the first side. I just flipped the clamp upside down there at the far end. It wanted to be upside down, you know. I swear on my britches, the clamp told me. Alright, I don't have britches. And I also pick out clotted, whatever, thicker parts of the glue as I find some stuff. Make sure it's all nice and even. And there, and then put it somewhere where it doesn't get dirty, and then flip some of the pieces. I'm not gonna flip the outside piece because that's all the glue that gets. I'm gonna flip all the rest. If you ask your buddy, friend, wife to give you a hand with these, with gluing in general, just make sure you're friends before, and then you also might want to make sure you're friends after, because gluing usually doesn't work out the way it's planned, even with a dry fit or a test fit. Okay? So just make sure you're friends before and after. Yes? Alright, another round. Yeah, you gotta move your rear end here on this one, or your arms. But usually you're gonna have to move your rear as well. Well, I think I'm happy with this one. Everything is evenly glued up. Every spot is evenly tacky, evenly fresh. Yeah. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. Good. Nice and tacky. There is of course some glue on the edge of these. Nothing a thickness planer wouldn't take care of. Oh, you don't have access to a thickness planer? Then I recommend you wipe it off with a wet rag and a chisel blade while it's still wet and supple. We don't discriminate here against the otherwise thickness plane oriented. So, let me show you what happens when you try to clamp these together. They're gonna slide. I'll show you what I mean by slide. That's what I mean by slide, okay? You get the idea. That's why you need to hold them together. Everywhere. Actually, I'm gonna do this with the short clamps because I want to stand up the shelf at the end along a wall where it can set. No, it doesn't dry, it sets, glue sets. I went with a shorter, cuter stick. That 2x6 is too much here, and just breathe down on it because this piece is gonna hold the whole thing flush. Alright. Alright. Now I'm about halfway or so done with clamping on that length. We're good to go. Here we need more clamps. This is how it looks like when it's clamped up with the glue oozing out like so, and obviously we have some gappage here and it needs to be clamped properly here so they all look nice and even and set uniformly. I'll get some more clamps. Yeah, take a look at this one. Yeah, the glue should be making those sounds. Maybe loosen this one a little bit. I want glue everywhere showing up top and not having a spot where there's no glue. And the last one is going this way. Yep, that's looking good. Let me see. I try to position all of the clamps so they are not touching the wood or not touching the glue, so they wouldn't need to be cleaned up there, because that dried glue sucks to clean up. So there is everything. 24 hours later, I'll take off the clamps. One last thing, I'm taking off some of these wooden sticks and removing some of the long clamps and swapping it for smaller ones, so like I said, I can stand it up and these long clamps wouldn't be sticking out in the way too much. So, because as is, it's like an obstacle course. So I'm going to take out these two because the boards or the sticks are not shifting sideways anymore. They are tacky enough. They might shift sideways, in which case they need to go back, but I tried it a couple of spots and they look good. And I have two shorter clamps here that I can use at that spot and the other spot over there. So that's how we're looking when it's stood up against the wall. I can look at both sides in this position there, so I can verify that the glue is evenly and pressure is evenly spread everywhere. And all I have to do now is clean up the paint roller, unless you want to throw it away, of course. And if you don't have a thickness planer, now is the time to grab a chisel and scrape off the glue while you can. I think I'm gonna do that a little bit. It's fairly straightforward. Clean up looks like that. Yeah, and put it back in the glue bottle, or if it's way too dry, sorry, allergy season, otherwise springtime. Yeah, and that's how this scraping looks like. 2 minutes. And there. I don't mind scraping some of the glue off, because I want a nice and even coat of glue on the faces of the wood sticks where they stick together. And you make sure when you apply pressure on the clamps, don't squeeze all the glue out, okay? So don't reef on them so tight that everything squeezes out, because that's kind of defeating the purpose. So the clamps are not loose by usual standards, but you know, they're not coming off. But I didn't really reef on them, only for alignment this way initially, so they don't slip. Alrighty, so that's how this one goes. Nothing glorious. And then of course your hands, whatever. But I chose a glue that cleans up with water. Most wood glues do. So that's how the backside looks like. It's not beautiful, but it's gonna be a lot less effort to run it through the thickness planer or whatever, make it look better. And now we're cleaning inside. We're cleaning the chisel, the chisel blade, whatever. It's a plain blade, but you get the idea. So, is this gonna rust when it's being cleaned up? Not while it's being cleaned up, but if you leave it wet and if you don't dry it, then high carbon steel, alloy steel, except austenitic stainless steel, all steels rust. Well, technically austenitic stainless steel rusts too, but it forms a passivation layer on top, and yeah, don't worry about it. So yeah, you clean it and then you dry it, of course. And I'm gonna do the same with the roller. So eat a hearty meal before you glue anything, because you don't get a break until everything is cleaned up and washed up. Alright, that concludes the joinery cabinet making gluing video here.